Everybody. Welcome to this session. A great welcome to all of you all, to all our offer holders who are looking at going on this exciting journey to Ireland. I'm sure your time in Ireland is going to be fantastic because it's a beautiful country to, go and study and then to live in. I'm sure you'll know all the exciting opportunities that are there. I don't have to reiterate on that. I think this session is going to be really important for you guys because yes, you all have got your offer letters now. The next step is the visa. So I would like to say thank you to Cabra first, for kindly agreeing to do all of this. I also have my colleague Anam who's here, who's going to help with this session itself. I think what is really important for you all is to understand what Cabra is saying. He's going to go into kind of details of how to apply for a visa and some of the do's and don'ts. Please leave your questions till the end because I'm sure he's going to answer a lot of the questions that you'll have in mind. We will be taking question and answers at the end, and Anam and I will try and do that as best as we can. If there are questions already in the chat and they're repeated, please don't repeat it over and over again because some important question might get left out. And there are, if he's answered certain things already, I suggest don't ask those again and again. Please look at what questions are there. I will actually give this on to Cabra now. Or before that, Anam, we do have a poll, right? So do you want to just put a poll? Okay, if you all could just respond to the poll that Anam is putting on the, for us now, that'll be great. The first poll question. We just have two poll questions. One we'll do now, one we'll do later.
I think there's people who are still voting, but we can, I think, go ahead.
Okay, yes. Just one thing is I can see people are asking whether it's recorded or not. Yes, this is going to be recorded. But yeah, Cabra will mention certain things. So just, listen to what he has to say. All over to you, Cabra.
Thanks. Thanks a lot, Wendy. And hi, everyone. My name is Cabra O'Farrell. I'm the head of immigration and visas in the Irish Embassy in Delhi. So we look after applicants coming from India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh, and the Maldives as well. Very busy office. We take in about 1/3 of all global visa applications and almost 50% of student visa applications. So it's very, very busy, but hopefully this will give you some information in relation to the general process of how to apply, when to apply, and little bits and pieces about the individual specifics of each country. A lot of this information is online. I'll be talking a little bit about a information leaflet that we have, which is a 2-page summary document that really covers everything you need to know. So when it comes to recorded, all of this information is really online. It's hopefully a fairly simple process. It's pretty similar to every other country as well. So I'll just start the presentation now. 2 seconds. So we'll start that. So as I said, this is just an overview of the student visa process. So what we're kind of going to look at today is we'll focus first of all on the student information leaflet and the visa checklist as well that we have that kind of cover pretty much all the areas of the student visa application process. We'll talk a little bit then about things like how to apply, how to make your application payment, etc., etc. We'll talk a little bit as well about what does a good applicant look like? What are the things that you can do to kind of help yourself and basically help ourselves as well when it comes to processing your application. We'll talk about financial requirements. That is generally where we tend to get some of the questions. That's where we differ slightly to some of the other countries. And then we'll just talk about some final reminders about tips and what to do and what not to do. Okay, so the student information leaflet, as I said in the introduction, this is a 2-pager that basically covers all the elements of the student application process. It's available on the Embassy of Ireland New Delhi website. Just under visas and then types of visas and documentation. And it basically just summarizes the main points of the process. There's summary information, but there's also a lot of URLs and links to the Irish immigration homepage, which is the main information source on immigration to Ireland. So the links will give you a little bit more detail. So when you're reading this document, do read the links as well, because you will get more of the detail there. Again, the 2-pager is just a brief summary. Also on the 2-page document, there's a email inbox in the bottom right-hand corner of the first page, which is an inbox operated by the visa office here in Delhi. and it's specific for visa queries. And importantly, it's specific for visa queries that maybe aren't answered online. So if there are kind of complex scenarios, by all means, send us an email, but don't send us an email just to say how to apply. That information is all on the website, so don't expect to reply to questions like that. So do read the website first. The second document that is important to read as a visa applicant is the checklist itself. So this is the checklist that you will be seeing and bringing to VFS if you're applying in Nepal or India. And it basically is a list of all the documents that you're going to need to submit your applications. The applicant must have an unconditional offer to study in Ireland. That's one important thing. So I think it's second point one of the checklist and relates to the offer, and it needs to be an unconditional offer.
Kavra, I just wanted to check because I don't know, but maybe it's on my end, but I can only see the first slide.
If you can just do the full screen.
Yeah, and do
Yes, now we can see
slideshow,
it.
please. Yes, do
Yeah.
slideshow. Yes, correct. Yeah.
Oh,
Perfect. Yes.
sorry
yes,
about that.
thank
So
you.
I'll just run through
No
this again
worries.
quickly. This is what we're going to look at. Quick overview of the agenda for today. The information leaflet, the checklist, apply, what it look like, financial requirements, and then we'll do a bit of Q&A later. This is leaflet, as I said, the 2-pager. It's on the embassy website, and it contains all the information that you're going to need to read. It has more detailed URL links to the Irish immigration website as well, and it is important that you read those more detailed links as well. This is the checklist that I was just talking about. So this is what you'll need, all the documents you need to submit with your visa application. It does talk about having an unconditional offer. It also has links to additional information again. So there is some links to the embassy website, to Irish immigration website, which are important to read as well, because there is detail there. Finally, there is a column for what's called the Lid Pro container. This is something that's for official use only. It's in relation to how you organize your applications when you're being submitted through VFS. So VFS will give you document containers, and you basically are asked to segregate your documents. That segregation is listed on the checklist, so it helps you to prepare your documents even before you go to VFS. Okay, so we'll just talk a little bit about the application process. Like any country, if you're applying for a visa, there's an online application system. You make your application form on AVATS, as the Irish system, and at the end of that process, you will generate a PDF, which is the application form, which has to be signed and dated. That's document number 1 on any visa application. If it's applicable, so if you're in a country that's covered by VFS, which is at the current time is only India and Nepal, basically you're required, after making your application, to arrange your VFS appointment for document submission. When you're booking your appointment with VFS in India, you have to pay your visa fees and pay your VFS service charges at the point of booking that appointment. Then you compile your supporting documents. You should have most of the documents at this point when you're making your application form. And then finally, you submit the documents. And if applicable, if you're going to VFS in India, you also have to give your biometrics as well, fingerprints. Again, it's important. I'm going to keep saying this over and over again, but it is important to read this Studying in Ireland, the information leaflet, because it really covers all these areas. Okay, so just in relation to document submission and payment, depending on your country of residency, because obviously we're likely to have attendees here from our various source countries. So if you're a resident of India, now this is important, this relates to your country of residence, not your nationality. So if you're a Nigerian national living in India and you want to submit, then you'll be submitting through the Indian process. If you're a Bangladeshi national living in India, again, you submit through the Indian process rather than the Bangladesh process. So for India, you must submit your documents at one of our regional VFS centers. Payment is made online when booking your VFS appointment. The paperwork that you bring to VFS in support of your application is then scanned by VFS, and they'll hand that paperwork back to you. They'll keep the passport, and passport then comes to the embassy with the application form. Once the visa issues, we will insert the visa and we'll return the passport to VFS, and they will dispatch it out through their return envelope that you arranged through them. For Nepal, we again submit at VFS Kathmandu. We only have one VFS center in Kathmandu. Payment is made in an Indian rupee bank draft made out to the Embassy of Ireland. And we don't take biometrics in Kathmandu. So if you wish to apply through an agent or any third party, you can do that. So the third party agent can submit your application for you if you live, for example, outside the Kathmandu Valley. Paperwork again is scanned by VFS, and then again the passport is returned through the VFS network after the visa issues. Sri Lanka is a little bit different. We don't have a VFS contract as yet in Sri Lanka, so applications are submitted at our honorary consulate in Colombo. There's no visa fees for Sri Lankan nationals as a government agreement, but there is a small admin charge that you have to pay the honorary consulate when you submit your application. It's 2,400 Sri Lankan rupees. So it's not a lot of money. The passport is returned to you. So once you submit your documents, your physical documents to the consulate, the passport is returned to you. And you can go and travel as needs be while you're waiting for your visa to be processed. The paperwork is then sent to the embassy for assessment. And once we approve the visa is then printed by the honorary consulate in Colombo. So you return with your passport, they print the visa, and then they insert it for you. Finally, Bangladesh, you can submit by post to the embassy. So we don't have VFS in Bangladesh, and we don't have visa services in our honorary consul at the minute. So if you want to submit your visa application and you're resident in Bangladesh, you have to post it directly to us in Delhi, the embassy in Delhi, or you can submit your application through a third party to VFS in Kolkata. So you can arrange a consultant, a visa agent, send them your documents, and they can hand them into VFS in Kolkata for you. Payment is made in Indian rupee bank drafts. I know that can be difficult at times, but that's the way it is set up at the minute. So it has to be an Indian rupee bank draft made out to the Embassy of Ireland in Delhi. And finally, with the applicant, once the visa has been approved, the passport is dispatched back to VFS in Delhi. VFS Delhi will contact the applicant, and then a courier has to be arranged to have the document picked up from Delhi. Okay, so in relation to when to apply for a visa, the key thing here is to apply as early as possible. If you're applying through VFS, which is the vast majority of our applicants, it's important to know that it does take time to get a VFS appointment at times, especially during the summer peaks. We do try to work with VFS to keep availability as open as possible, but we are seeing increased interest every year. So it's important, once you have all your documents ready, to go to VFS website and get your appointment as soon as possible. The processing times that we have on the embassy website don't include the time it takes to get a VFS appointment, and neither does it include the time it takes for the documents to get from VFS to the embassy and get from the embassy back to VFS for dispatch. The processing times are only relating to the time it takes from receipt in the embassy to decision in the embassy. So once you lodge to VFS, the documents must transit, as I say, transit over and back. That isn't counted in the processing times. And importantly, don't wait to the last minute. If you have your documents, you should kind of prepare yourself to get that application in as soon as possible, because we will see very, very high demand this year, and there is limited availability. Even though, as I said, we work with VFS every year to try to make it easy for applicants, open up extra hours, open up extra slots, but there's huge demand. So it's really important that you try to get your documents in early. And importantly, the responsibility lies on you, the applicant. We do get late applications, and we do our best to get late applications processed in time, but it's not always possible. Student visas only account for 20% of our workload. So we have a lot of employment visas, a lot of visitor visas that we have to process as well. So it's really important that the applicant looks after themselves and gives themselves the best chance. Okay, so as I say, what does a good applicant look like? So first thing is a good applicant is informed. That's really the most important part. So a good applicant would read the information leaflet, read the website links, understand the process, and don't send unnecessary queries to the embassy. Again, the more queries we have to answer or even assess, the less time we have to assess applicants, including students. So try to read and help yourselves. A lot of the information is online. A good applicant, again, is exact. So they've read the checklist and they submit all relevant documents. We do have cases where people just forget to submit some documents. That can lead to visa refusal. So it's important that you do get organized. We expect this from students as well. You're going to study degrees, mostly master's degrees, so you should be well organized. It's not an overly difficult process if you prepare. So it's just important that you read and provide the right documents. A good applicant is also punctual, as I said earlier. Important to secure your VFS appointment well in advance of your travel dates. And you're organized as well. So when you're in VFS or when you're submitting your application to us, if you're in Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, it's important to organize your documents. Organization makes it easier for visa officers to assess and to find and confirm that you have provided the right documents. If a document is buried inside 60 pages of a financial statement or pay slips, it may be missed. It may easily be missed by a visa officer. So it's important to kind of organize your documents. Again, the checklist has a column called the Lid Pro Container column, and that gives you an indication of how to prepare your documents. Also, good applicant is patient as well. It's important that you await your outcome. Decisions can take time. We do publish a list of decisions every morning. This is the decisions that have been made in year to date up to the day before. So that's where you can check to see if your decision is actually issued. Processing times for a student visa are usually somewhere between 12 and 20 working days. They can be higher though, 30 to 40 days possibly at very, very peak periods. So bear that in mind when you're applying for your visa. Okay, in relation to financial requirements, as I said earlier, this tends to be where we get a fair few questions. It's important to understand that you have to qualify financially without the dependency on part-time work in Ireland. Students are allowed to work in Ireland 20 hours during term, 40 hours off term, but a student has to prove to the immigration service that they will be able to support themselves financially without work, because if that work doesn't happen, we need to ensure that you're actually going to be able to stay in the course. So the first thing is an applicant must show immediate access to required finances for both course fees and annual living costs for year one. So if you're applying for a master's course, they're all 1 year, generally 1 year in Ireland. And you need to show immediate access to the required course fees and annual living expenses for that year. If you're applying in a multi-course year, we'll talk about that in a second. So in Ireland, the fee processing is if your course fees are under €6,000, then you have to pay the €6,000 in full. Very few courses for a full-time degree or a master's degree would be as cheap as €6,000. So most of the time, it's going to be considerably over €6,000. So if your fees are over €6,000, then at the point of visa application, you have to pay at least €6,000. So if your course is €12,000 in fees, if it's €20,000 in fees, you have to only have paid €6,000 by the time you make the application, the visa application. Now, your education provider may have different requirements, but I'm speaking here just from an immigration perspective, a visa perspective. If your course fees are €12,000 and you only pay €6,000, then that's all we will look for. But in relation to assessing your finances, we are going to have to see that that extra €6,000 that you owe for fees is in your bank as well and is there to be paid. So just be aware that if you haven't paid your fees in full, then the whatever is left in the fee payment needs to be in your bank, needs to be in your loans, etc., because that needs to be paid off before you travel to Ireland. So cost of living expenses in Ireland are currently €10,000 per annum. That's again an immigration requirement. Your college provider may suggest a higher amount of money, may suggest that you need 12, 14,000 for living in Ireland. But for an immigration requirement, we only look to show that you see that you have €10,000 in cost of living. That's for per year. So for multi-year courses, you first of all have to show that immediate access to the course fees and living expenses for the first year. But if you're studying a 4-year program, we have to also see that you will have the finances for years 2, 3, and 4. That's what we call ready access financing. So you have to show us not necessarily that you have all the money at the minute for years 2, 3, and 4, but that based on your financial ability will have the money for 2, 3, and 4 when you need it. So that can be evidenced by loans, by savings, and also by projected finances. So fixed deposits are fine as well, but if you have projected earnings from your sponsors, so if your sponsors are your parents and they're both sponsoring you and they're both working and they earn X amount of lakh per year, then their ITRs over the last 3 years will show us that this family earns a fair amount of money, and that money is going to be there eligible to the applicant when they need it. It's important to understand for finances that we don't accept any volatile market-linked money. So anything like mutual funds, crypto or chit funds, or any market-linked savings, we don't accept. If you have money in these types of funds, then you should liquidate it, put it into a savings account, fixed deposit, or a education loan. Any volatile funding we can't accept because it can vanish overnight. Excuse me. So this is one of the required documents on the checklist. It's the financial summary form. It basically summarizes your financial requirements and your declared finances. It also confirms the consent for any sponsorship. So if your uncle, aunt, mother, father is sponsoring you, they have to give signed consent on this form. The purpose of this document is to help you understand the requirements and prepare your finances. But it also helps visa officers understand and assess your financial position as well. So it's one of the required documents, and it's in the checklist, mentioned in the checklist online. Excuse me. So just a few final reminders. Again, I can't stress this more. Read the information. It's all the information is on the websites. It's all there. Make sure you read it yourself, especially if you're going through an agency as well. Some agents are very good, some not so good, but you should go to them prepared, knowing that you know the system yourself. Obviously, provide all the required paperwork. Give clear and concise financial information. Paperwork cannot be submitted at a later stage. So you submit your application, that's how we're going to assess it, unless you're asked to provide more documents. Importantly, don't provide any false and misleading information that can result in a visa ban. In relation to should you apply for a single or multi-entry visa, we always suggest a multiple entry visa because there are delays to registration when you get to Ireland. Again, apply as soon as you can, don't waste time. And if you're missing documents of VFS, you're entitled to lodge the application, but it's at your own risk. So if you're missing documents, you can lodge them without those documents, but it's at your own risk. Okay, so I'm happy to take any questions now, Wendy.